Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share a layout that I created for the Use Your Stuff Challenge blog hop. The theme of the challenge this week is Golden Days of Summer, and so the idea was to use anything summer related, whether it be photos, whether it be colors, whatever. If it made you feel like summer, then go for it. So first thing I do when I start off with a challenge is to grab a sketch, which I did from Page Maps, and I started with the layout. And I have to apologize because I started the layout a little bit before I started the recording. And so you'll see here I forgot, and it's like, okay, I'm showing you I cut down the papers. Here, I'm not used to recording process videos yet, so it's going to take me a little while to get going with it and, you know, get my memory about it. Anyway, so I take the cardstock was one of those pieces that had the watercolor look where it faded from pink to green, and so I just cut down this other pattern paper and put it on there. Gosh, this pattern paper is just gorgeous. I took a couple pieces from that paper stack there. It's a 4x6 paper stack, and I used it here, and so I'm adding those pieces of paper across the middle of the layout. And the page map sketch that I initially started with had just one single sheet of paper across the middle, and I just kind of staggered it. You know, like I've said before, I start off with the sketch and I kind of sort of do my own thing, and so that's kind of what I did here. I think the original sketch maybe had 2 photos on it, and I made it 3 because that's just what I do. So the other thing is the sketch had a piece of washi tape or pattern paper, anyway, a little sliver of paper across the bottom of the photo mat in the center. So I took one of the border strips that I had added to my kit and just laid it across there. And it's one that I had die cut with. It is a copper tone piece of paper that I had die cut with I believe it was a Sizzix die, or no, I'm sorry, a Lifestyle Crafts or Quick Cuts die, a pretty old one, and it's been in my stash for a long time. I punched a whole bunch of those and then didn't end up using all of them. And so you can see I kind of had thought that I was going to use that piece of paper there, and I changed my mind, and so I'm just looking around, and I took a Project Life card or a pocket page card, and I cut it in half, and I'm going to use half of it at the top and half of it at the bottom. And on that little banner piece it says, I love this day, on the green section. And then the other section was just plain. And so I decided to stamp on it. You know, it's always a good day when you can use your stamps on a scrapbook layout. And so I pulled out some Close to My Heart ink and put it up there. There's the, I want to say it's called Gypsy. Anyway, it's a pretty vibrant purple color, and so I stamped that right across that tag, the top portion of that tag. I maybe should have centered it a little bit more, but I didn't. And so now I'm dealing with that, thinking what am I going to put across the bottom. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm going to clean my stamp and work on some other things, because that's just what I do. If I get lost on something and I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do at the very next, then I kind of move forward and do something else that I know I'm going to do. And in this instance, I know that I'm going to use this sticker from one of the sticker sheets in my kit called Lovely Day. Did I mention I'm using my May 2016 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit to create this layout? It was a pretty small kit for my standards, but I loved all the papers and embellishments that I had put in it, so I'm going to try and get some of them used up. And so I'm looking around thinking I need to bulk up that that center mat some, and so I took another border strip, and it's one that had holes on it, or a hole in the center of it, and so I just cut it in half, and I'm using a little bit on the top, a little bit on the bottom to just add a little bit more to the overall mat on the back, and add a little bit more color in there. And so I'm not done with adding. I still think I need a little bit more under there, and I'm thinking, okay, do I want some washi tape? Do I want to start with my embellishments? What am I going to do? I don't know. So I'm thinking, okay, I already know what my title is going to be, because that's my granddaughter Shawnee, and she's out in the backyard. These photos were from 2012. She's out in the backyard and she's just sprawled on the grass, and she was watching the clouds float by, just having a fabulous afternoon. And we had played and played and played and did lots of running, and so she was just wiped out on the grass, just watching the clouds go by for a little bit. And so I thought, the song came to mind, Summer Dreams. Well, I don't know that that's the title of it, but that's the title of the layout. And so I used these alphabets. They're chipboard alphabets. They're white with a gold striping across them. They really are very pretty. And so I added those down, and I'm still thinking, okay, I need to bulk up some down around this journal tag on the bottom. And so I took a sticker and I cut it in half, and I added a little bit to each side of it. You know, and I put everything at angles. I don't want everything straight across there because the photos aren't straight. It took me a long time to embrace not straight. When I first started scrapbooking, I could never tilt a photo easily. I had to work really hard at making myself tilt those photos. It's not a natural process for me to do that. And so, yeah. Anyway, so in doing this, sometimes with my backgrounds, when I tilt photos, I tilt the papers in the background, and so that's what I did here. And as I'm adding embellishments, I'm kind of tilting them and making everything a little bit off kilter, if you will. And so I took another sticker and cut out the flower on it, and then I'm just kind of, you know, moving it around, trying to think, okay, am I going to use it here? Am I going to use it there? Where am I going to use it? Really, I'm not going to. In the end, I'm going to end up pulling that off. So I've pulled in basically my finishing touches pieces, and these are all the little bits and pieces that I put into a kit. And so I'm looking to see, am I going to use something out of here? What do I have that'll match? What feels right? And so I'm just kind of auditioning, if you will, trying out pieces all over the layout to see, okay, will this work for me? Because when it comes down to the finishing touches, I don't always know exactly what I'm going to use. And so I just know sometimes on the bigger pieces, I have a good idea what I'm going to use and where I'm going to put it. But when it comes to the smaller pieces, not so much. So I'm going across here and I'm adding stuff in and just trying stuff out here, there, and yonder. Finding some pieces. Okay, I think I'm done with that first bin, and so I'm looking through the second bin where I have the little potty people, and then I have some other dimensional embellishments, the enamel shapes and dots. I have those metal diamond shapes. I have the journaling spots, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is cool because I can actually do my journaling hidden instead of having to worry about putting down journal strips someplace. So I thought I added in one of these little paper bags, and I actually made the journal tags on the inside. I cut them out with my Sizzix die for tags, and I cut down using scraps. I used some scrap black paper with pattern on it, and I backed it on a white piece, and that tucks down into that little craft color paper bag that I bought at I think Michael's or Hobby Lobby years ago, when paper bags, little glassine bags and stuff like that started coming in. Pretty sure it was Michael's. Anyway, so now that I've got that black on the tag, I think I need to add in a little more black to kind of balance it out, even though my granddaughter's wearing black pants in the layout, and that has a lot of black to it. I still think that I need to balance a little bit more. So I grabbed out the black washi, the black with white polka dots washi tape, and I'm stretching it across the top there and tucking it under some of the papers on the top. And those alphas, I haven't really mashed them down hard. I mean, I just basically laid them on there and gently push them down so that they would stay on there. and I don't mash them hard until I'm completely done with the layout, because I end up moving them around and doing some other things, not moving them around, but lifting like you saw to add the washi tape. And so I don't ever mash them down completely for a while. And so I'm trying out all the little embellishment pieces to see what I'm going to use, where I'm going to use it. And I can tell you, I have placed things down and I think, oh, I'm not going to use that there after all. And yeah, it's just a trial and error process for me. And so you can see I'm trying to use those leftover K & Company, I believe, tags. They're layered up tags, and they've been in my stash forever. And I have, of a sheet of 9, I still have 3 left. And so I'm auditioning them here to see if I can use them here. And then I think, okay, I need to do something to the bottom of this tag. And so I added some yellow polka dot washi tape, and then with the strip of the plain black thin washi tape that I had. And so I think that black is a little bit too hard, and so I need to add something to soften it. So I add some of the hexagon shapes to it. They're the bright pink or purpley color that's in the layout. And so I add 3 of those along there. And you can see I'm just still looking around to see if I'm going to use anything else. And I go through these words that I die cut. I pulled out I believe it's a Sizzix die cut, and cut out some words. The original inspiration kit had big, thick brush stroke words in it, and so I didn't add those. I didn't have anything that matched that, so I used my little thinner ones and I put those in there. I cut them out, and so they're pretty thin, and so I'm having to go through with my my fine line bottle where I've put my adhesive, and just touch it along the back of it so I can adhere it down. I'm still looking for something to put in that gap there. I'm not really happy. Wasn't really happy with the flower that I had, not really happy with the tags, and so I'm looking. I have one of these little butterflies left, and they're paper butterflies from Recollections, and they started off with a sheet of 9, and this is the only one that I have left. But I figured since I had the yellow on the tag, I put a little bit of yellow ribbon on that, and now I've got the yellow on the journal spot on the bottom, and now I've got my 3rd bit of yellow in the yellow butterfly, even though there's just a little bit of that yellow showing down on the journal tag right below where I stamped Always on My Mind. It's still pretty noticeable in person, and so I wanted to balance that out. So I'm still looking around. I've got little arrows that I've punched out for my scraps, and I'm trying them out. You know, this is just the process that I go through. I try things out. I pulled out a brown wood tone heart. It was part of an ephemera pack, maybe crepe paper, and I put it down up right over where it says I loved this day. And so I'm still going. I'm thinking, okay, I need some sequins just to bling it up a little bit. And you know, I will typically do that. I'll splatter them out and kind of glue them down. And I use glue dots to stick these down because I have found that the Scotch quick dry adhesive that I use after it's dry, because it forms a almost slick surface to it, the back of the sequins are slick and they end up popping off. And I've noticed that, you know, flipping through my albums later after I've used that adhesive, that they've popped off, and I find them down in the bottom of my page protectors. But whenever I use the glue dots, the super tiny glue dots, it doesn't happen that way. And so I'm going to use 3 different colors. I've got a dark pink, I've got a light pink, and I've got a very light iridescent pink. in the pink sequins, and then I've got a rose gold and a gold, and I'm not going to use the rose gold or the gold. I'm just going to use the 3 different pink ones, and I'm just going to keep adding until I feel like I've got enough, which, you know, when you watch this, I put a lot down, and I really do, but it feels like enough. And I kind of, on the top, I layered it onto that little bit of journal spot and kind of had to go there, but at the bottom I only added 1 up to on the journal card and then kept them on the background paper for the most part. And I only did that because I had those 3 enamel shapes there. And so finally, here's the pink ones, the very light iridescent pink ones that are going down, I believe. Anywho, so if you create a summer theme layout, we would love to see it over at the Use Your Stuff Challenge blog. Be sure to head over there and link up your layout or your card, whatever kind of project that you create, because we would love to see it. And anyway, that finishes off my layout. Pretty sure not going to add anything else. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about what I'm going to write or where I'm going to write my journaling, and so then I remember, oh yeah, I put that that tag up there, so I'll do my journaling on the back of that. And so all I wrote on there was, Shawnee packed to come to our house, long sleeve tops, long pants, boots, and shoes. It's July. Really? Laugh out loud. Yeah, she was so cute when she packed for herself, and I guess her mom didn't go back through her bag after she got it packed, because my goodness, we had long clothes. We had to go to the store and buy some more shorts and stuff. Anyway, thanks for sharing, guys. Thanks for visiting today and watching my layout. And if you would like to see close-ups, please head over to my blog, juliesjournaloflife.blogspot.com.